Hello, welcome to Paradigm Shift on the Go. My name is Shane O'Donnell. This is a place for the entrepreneur, and my intention is to encourage the entrepreneur. It's not an easy space to be in. Lift their human spirit. Let them know that the creative process is an infinite game. So the ideas and the dreams, the hopes, and the wants that you have on your heart, they're there for a reason. It's not by coincidence that you have those and you feel this enormous desire to keep creating and moving in the direction of what it is that you genuinely want. So entrepreneurship is a creative space. And what I want to talk about today is a powerful tool that you can use, and it's free to all of us, that you can use on a daily basis. And when you make it a habit on a daily basis, then it becomes a very positive influence in any entrepreneur's life. Because I'll start from the beginning that, the journey of entrepreneurship is a constant state of change. It's a transformational process. It's becoming a person. You're becoming a person that you imagine in the future, and you have to shift ideas and beliefs that are fixed within you right now, that are fixed within your what we call a paradigm, and you're making decisions based on those fixed ideas, those beliefs, the self-image, routines, habits that you move into every day. You're making decisions from that place at the moment, from that paradigm, and that's causing the resistance in your life. So if you, for a lot of people, they understand that business or entrepreneurship is a spiritual game, that everything's first created in the mind, and for many, the mind is connected to spirit, to consciousness, to the God of your understanding. And so if that's the case, if that's the creative place, we can only ever be in one state at a time, and there's two basic states of being, and that matches up with our physiology. And the one state is a connected state where you tap into the infinite resources available to all of us, the infinite resources that are free, available for all of us, and that is a growth state of mind, and that's when you actually feel good. When you understand, when you feel good, then we've all experienced this, where the ideas are flowing, the solutions are coming, and all of a sudden, the chance meeting that ends up shifting your business or your creation, whatever your creation, significantly, just happen. It all happens. What seems to be a miracle or a coincidence actually is when we are connected to our creative state. What's the other state? Well, it's when you're disconnected. And we all know that. We don't feel good when we're disconnected. It is when we activate or we're focused on the problems. We wake up in the morning and we know we've got to deal with a certain problem in our business, and it sets us off into a lower state of frequency, vibration, whatever you want to call. It's a lower energetic state. And that state actually blocks out the creative possibilities that are all around us. And so we don't get to see or we can't observe the opportunities that are right in front of us. Okay, so I want to go into a little more detail about the whole idea of gratitude, but it comes from a place, one, that there are infinite number of possibilities available to all of us all the time. The people that believe that there is a power greater than we are, that is intelligently orchestrating life for us, allowing life to flow through us. When we come from that place, and then we realize that the way that we show up in the day, either from a creative point of view where we're connected to infinite or disconnected, impacts the performance of our day. And that there is one simple formula: what we want, our desire, plus what we believe and these are beliefs that are free of any resistance. There's no negative to them. Equals desired outcome. So desire plus belief equals desired outcome. So when we get that and we just say, well, let's just focus on that because it's a really simple formula. And if you go back to, if you read any self-help book that focuses on how to accomplish anything, it'll be boiled down to that formula. That formula goes back to the original scriptures. Christ gave us that formula. You can check it out. It is right throughout the New Testament. And it is the formula for accomplishment. So we can choose to ignore it. Great. And then we can work hard for the rest of our lives. Or we can say, well, if there's something in that, let me investigate it and maybe I should apply it to my life. Because the better you become at applying that simple formula, the more you accomplish, and a lot easier than having to work hard, having to sacrifice, having to struggle to get to where you want to go. That's not how we were designed to live. Okay, so what do I want to talk about today? Well, it's on the screen. Daily habit of gratitude. It's an overlooked, powerful mechanism for creating significant change in our lives. Why do I say that? Well, for many people to understand that we're operating from a paradigm. So it's our interpretation, or it's the lens through which we are interpreting life. It is the lens through which every day we show up, and we'll either be in a reactive state where something happens and we react and we get a result. Something else happens, we react based on memory, based on what we've experienced so far in our lives, we get a result. But the results don't change. So how do we change the result? Well, if we understand that we are operating on a belief system, on a self-image system, on a habit system that is consistently operating unconsciously, you're making these decisions and you don't even know why. You might have a lot of knowledge of how to get to where you want to go, but you find yourself frustrated because you're continually getting the same results. And the reason why is because your operating system is operating way below where you want to be. So it's causing you to make decisions, behave, get results at a lower level than where you want to be. So how do you change that? Well, one mechanism that you can use to change the narrative that's going on in your mind subconsciously is to use a process of daily gratitude. And it's very powerful, very overlooked, in particular by men, because men, it's a feeling thing. It's got no logic to it. It is an emotive idea. Well, it is incredibly powerful and it's free to all of us. And when we create the habit of using gratitude, a process of gratitude, which I'll go through now, daily, then you start to shift your paradigm. When you shift your paradigm, you start to operate from a new level of thinking, a new level of belief, a new level of habit. And that's the objective. That's the purpose of using the gratitude process. So let's think about what are we doing? Okay, so if entrepreneurship is a creative game, and that if we connect to our creative side, to the infinite side, to connect to spirit more often than our reactive side, where we activate our sympathetic nervous system and we go into fight flight, that is disconnected from our creative state, which is calm and relaxed. So if you don't feel good, you know which one you've activated. If you feel good, you know that you're in your creative state, and that's where we're meant to be most of the time. And it takes a process. Don't expect this is going to happen overnight. So I'm recommending that you subscribe to a 90-day challenge. It's not going to cost you anything. And if you'd like to join our community, we have a WhatsApp group that is an accountability group where you just give a thumbs up every day to say that you've done two things. One is you've taken 15 minutes of your time, you've taken a journal, and you've just written out 10 things, 10 people, 10 experiences, 10 things that you want in your life, things that are coming, anything that really makes you feel good, that you're grateful for, that you appreciate in your life. Write down 10 things. It could be 10 words. It could be 10 sentences. It doesn't matter. It could be a page of stories. It doesn't matter. Just start doing something every day, because what you want to do is you want to activate and connect to your creative state. And you use that through this process of just simply starting your day like that. Then once you've written down what you appreciate in your life right now, in this moment, or what you've asked for and you know is going to come, because you know that the process works, regardless of what it seems like in your current circumstances, write that down. Once you've done that, then the formula said desire plus non-resistant belief equals desired outcome. So the non-resistance is really important to understand. If you are resenting anyone right now, if someone is hurting you, someone has hurt you in the past, then you have to let that go. You have to forgive them. You have to send them love. You have to actually feel it within you. Send them love. If you do that, you're now reducing the resistance in your being. You are able to connect closer to your source of supply, infinite intelligence, or the God of your understanding. So that's an important thing to do. Then once you've done that, and believe you me, it doesn't start easy, but you start to get better and better at it. And it's called practice. It's called process. It's not meant to be 100 miles an hour straight away. That's why I suggest a 90-day challenge, because over 90 days, if you do it every day, you'll just get better and better and better. It's no different to exercising a muscle in your arm. When you go to the gym, the first time you start doing curls, it's not going to be that easy. But after 90 days, you'll be picking up heavier weights. And the same with your mind, okay? Same with gratitude. So once we've done that, I'd suggest you keep coming back to the WhatsApp group, giving a thumbs up to say that you've done what you said you would do in terms of that first process. The second process is, and this is really cool. I did this in 2005. Again, I did it in 2007. I've got the stories at the back here. I wrote a story of an ideal day in my life in the future, the ideal day of what I'd love to live, the lifestyle I'd like to live, in detail, from the moment I woke up. I woke up with next to my wife, and we're still married, 30 years on, and even happier now, because that's what I imagined. And have a cup of coffee, then do my prayer or meditation, and then go to work. And I didn't even write down what work I did, but I did say that I loved the work that I did. And that's what I'm doing now. I did say I go to work in an office on our property. Well, this is our next door property, and I have this office in this property. And I imagined that in 2005 from a place where I just lost the business and I was broke and I had no idea how to get to where we are right now. I had no idea, but I just imagined it and I wrote it down, ideal day. Then went home, made lunch for my wife, which I didn't cook in those days. Now I do make lunch for my wife occasionally when I do go home, or dinner. Then there were other things that I wrote, and I won't go into all of it, but just write down your ideal day. Because literally, I'm living that story that I wrote in 2005, and then again, I rewrote it in 2007 over a weekend course that I did with a mentor I had then. And it's all come to pass. Pretty much everything that I wrote in that book. There were many things. There was travel included in there. There was all kinds of adventures written in there, and those have come to pass. Most of them, not all of them, but most of them. And I tell you, we live a much better life. So that's the process. So 1 is the daily gratitude. 10, 3, forgiveness. 1, ask for direction. And then 2, write your story. Just write it once. You might keep adding to it, but read that story twice a day. And I'm suggesting read it lunchtime, because you've done your gratitude in the morning. I'm suggesting you read it at lunchtime and then read it just before you drift off to sleep at night. If you do that for 90 days consistently, what you're doing is you're changing the narrative that you're operating to. So if your paradigm has a bias towards focusing on problems, then you're missing out you cannot see. You're blocking out the opportunities. You're blocking out solutions. So over time, as you become more relaxed and more grateful and start to appreciate more of life, you're starting to train your brain to look for what you appreciate, then you start to get different outcomes. It starts to influence you in different ways. You start to feel differently. So it changes the quality of our thinking, changes the quality of your narrative, changes the story that you're telling yourself. Because if your story, your narrative that you're going into is one of a lot of complaining, a lot of blaming, a lot of frustration that you haven't got to where you want to go, it seems like you're on this treadmill of despair the whole time, then you're blocking out the goodness that's freely available to you. And I love what Neville says. Neville says that it's not about the things that we get, and it's all about what we appreciate. That's what creates a fulfilled life, is what we can every day look into that day, go through that day, looking at and recognizing what we appreciate in that day. And again, two states of being. You're either looking at life from a negative point of view, and when you do that, our mind goes to work with a confirmation bias to prove what we've made important. So if we make the negative of any situation important, our mind will go to work to find the evidence to prove it. Equally, if we shift that and say, okay, what is it I appreciate? Doesn't matter what happens. And I'm not suggesting for a moment that nothing bad is going to happen or difficulties aren't going to come your way. I'm not suggesting that at all, but you're not going to get emotionally involved with it. You're going to look at it from a different point of view, from a different paradigm, from a paradigm of what's the opportunity, where is the silver lining in this? What is the lesson I have to learn? And then how am I going to move forward in a different frame of mind, where I'm just creating momentum to move past that perceived obstacle. And it's just a process. So over this next 90 days, I intend to break down the whole idea of gratitude into smaller and smaller bits so that you can get bite-sized understandings of the perceived ideas of gratitude and, the negative connotations that people may have towards gratitude. Then practical applications of gratitude, and there's more to it. Understanding the science and the spiritual aspects of gratitude, how it connects you to the infinite, but also how it impacts our physiology and how our well-being is lifted through a practice of daily gratitude. And for many people, they get it, but I'm speaking to the people that haven't included a daily practice of gratitude where they're actually physically writing. I'm appealing to those people to consider joining us. So I hope that was helpful, and I intend to keep updating the WhatsApp channel with smaller bits of the whole subject of gratitude. So bless you, and I hope that this was helpful for you.